Good morning and welcome back to the 2025 U.S. National Aerobatic Championships here in Salina, Kansas. We're here this morning for the unlimited category second flight, free unknown one. With you this morning, I'm DJ Molney, chief of the judges program for the IAC. Flying the low lines, orienting the judges to where the bottom of the box is. I'm joined again this morning by the man, the legend, Sean D. Tucker. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, my friend. I'm glad to be here, but this is cruel and unusual punishment to wake up before sunrise to watch the...
So the judges get an idea of what the bottom of the box looks like at 100 meters, and they also get a sense for the boundaries and confines of the box. Then that procedure is repeated across the front of the box, and then for one final check, the pilot will fly towards the judges on what we call the Y-axis. So instead of left to right, they're flying front to back.
Well, it's a great morning. I mean, the air is just calm. I think the sky is going to really turn beautiful. And these guys are fired up because now the tough work begins on these next couple sequences, next evolutions. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. 2 days ago, Sean and I were here commenting on the free known flight. That's where the competitors put together a sequence with certain mandatory figures in it, but they can rearrange and reorder the figures as they like. Today is the free unknown, and the way this works is the unlimited pilots got together and one at a time submitted a figure that the others had not seen before. And when enough figures had been put out there, then the pilots all went away and did that exercise of composing them into a sequence that had some flow to it.
So good, and everything they do is so precise. Even his seatbelt check, where he is just pushing a little negative, looked like a work of art. I mean, what they're doing
Absolutely.
in the sky, these airplanes are their instruments.
They are.
And these folks are just such finely tuned athletes in a finely tuned airplane. These are the best we got in the country. And what amazes me, there's only like 500, less than 500 IEC members.
There's about 4,000 people on the membership rosters, but of that, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 plus will compete in a given year.
Yeah. And how many pilots are in the United States?
800,000.
800,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really an elite group. Even the pilots in the lower categories are using skills that your average Cessna driver or Boeing driver would never need to exercise, and it makes them much better pilots, don't you think?
Much more competent. If there's ever an emergency, they can think quickly. I mean, this is all, what they're doing here is amazing. Formula One drivers can't do this. There's no way in the world they can do this. I mean, you got to think so quickly and react. I mean, it's stunning. It's stunning to see how finesseful they are in these very, very complicated figures.
Yeah, Sean and I are holding the first sequence that's going to be flown, which is sequence golf, G for golf, and honestly, the paper's just covered in symbology and lots of red ink where there's negative G's, and I mean, just, I don't know, the sheer number of figures. There's a total of 14 figures, but some of those figures have 3 different rolls on them. And yeah, the number of individual maneuvers that are going to make up this flight are several dozen, and it all happens in the space of what, 3-4 minutes?
Yeah, and for me, it just inspires me to want to be better. It inspires me to keep striving for excellence, because they're a perfect example of making that commitment to search for excellence in execution every time you go flying.
All right, looks like AJ is rolling into the box. We're getting underway. We got the wing wags. He's got the speed and altitude he's looking for. It looks like he's starting close to the bottom of the box, going to work his way up from there. And here we go, figure 1. Hold on the vertical, 3/4 roll. 2 of 8, opposite. Now a 3/4 loop with a 4-point roll on the top, and during the 4-point roll, the competitors are expected to maintain the looping arc as they roll the aircraft. Harder than it sounds. At the bottom of 3/4, he comes back to horizontal. We have 3 of 4 roll, a continuous 3/4 roll opposite direction. That's the end of figure 1. Figure 2, pull to the vertical. Looking for 1 1/4 rolls on the up line, followed by a wheels up tail slide. Here, AJ will cut the power. The aircraft will slide backwards, minimum 1/2 fuselage length, and then flop so that the nose is headed straight down, and during the flop, the wheels are pointed at the sky, hence the term wheels up tail slide. He performs a 3/4 inside snap on the down line, returns to the horizontal line to figure 2. Into figure 3, double humpty bump, pull to the vertical, 3 of 4 on the up line. Now he'll pull a half loop radius to come back down. As he's in front of us now, we see that there is in fact still wind from the south, pushing AJ to the north a little bit. He'll compensate for that. 2 of 2 on the line. Pull back up to the vertical, 1/4 roll. He needs to roll to the left, and he does, and finishes inverted, what we call a layout, end of figure 3. Figure 4 begins with a 1 1/4 turn inverted spin, and unlike an upright spin where you pull back till the airplane stalls, he pushes forward until the airplane stalls because he started it from inverted. 1 1/4 rotations, half roll to opposite, pulling back to the vertical. He's going to do a 4-point roll. Let me tell you, this takes quite an aircraft to have that much energy to go straight up and do about, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds worth of rolling on the up line. He lays out again under figure 4. He's now flying away from us on the y-axis. Going to pull down for yet another double humpty bump. 1/4 roll on the down line, pull to the vertical. For once, there are no rolls on this vertical upline. Judges are looking for, on any upline or downline, for the aircraft to be perfectly vertical, and they'll deduct 1 point for any 5 degrees of variation that they see. Half roll now on the down line, and he's headed downwind again. End of figure 5. Now into figure 6, which begins with a full roll, half loop up. At the top of the half loop, 3 of 2 rolls. 1, 2, 3, followed by inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure. Figure 7 is a horizontal 8. From there, from the inverted position, he's going to pull down 5/8 of a loop, which brings him to a 45-degree upline, now a 4-point roll. And the second half, the aircraft's upright, so the second 5/8 loop, he's going to push around, push forward on the stick. So instead of positive G's pulling him into the seat, he has negative G's pushing him up towards the canopy. Brings him to another 45 upline where he does a 3/4 roll and a 3/4 opposite. Lays out inverted, end of one very long figure. Figure number 8 is a very simple connector figure. It's just a half loop down. To reiterate the process, the competitors propose these figures, arrange them in the order they like, and they're allowed to add little connectors, if you will, that make the sequence flow the way they need it to. Into figure 9 starts with a double roll, half loop up. We're going to see a 2-point roll on the top, and an outside snap and a half where AJ will push on the stick, stomp a rudder, and the aircraft snaps around. From there, even though he just depleted a whole bunch of kinetic energy, he's going to pull to the vertical, and that airplane will do it. No rolls on this upline, though. Push over a half loop. This is a Humpty bump. It's a pull, push, pull Humpty. Half roll on the down. Pull out, finish upright, finish downwind. Next maneuver is what we call a lay down Humpty or 45 Humpty. Pull to the 45, full inside snap. From 45 up, he's going to pull a half loop, so he's flying 45 down, inverted. Roll and a half to upright. Pull out, finish upwind, end of figure 11. Figure 12 is a sharp tooth, pull to the vertical. Full outside snap on the upline. Now pull back on the stick to a 45 down line. As he comes over the top, establishes a 45. Again, here the judges are looking for a perfect 45-degree angle, 1 point for any 5 degrees of variation. And he pushes out of the figure. And then number 13 is another double Humpty. This one starts with a push to the vertical. Push over the top, half loop. So that's the first Humpty bump radius. He'll do a 1/4 roll on the down line. Pull back up to the vertical. Another 1/4 roll. Needs to roll to the right, and he does. Push the stick forward so the aircraft is flying off level. Virtually no airspeed, hanging on the prop. Not a problem for this high-powered extra. End of figure 13. Now the final figure, number 14. Push to a 45 down inside, snap and a half. Now from inverted, a long, hard push back up to the vertical. AJ's taking a little easy on the push. Don't blame him at all. How tight you make the radii or how large you make them has nothing whatsoever to do with your score. All the judges are looking for is a continuous radius there. AJ does the 4 of 8, caps off at the end, and that is it for the first flight this morning. I'm already out of breath.
You did a great job, and so did AJ. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of flying. You know, let's say you're out there and you submit one of these figures. You've probably practiced that figure.
Oh,
You're
you've
a
practiced
smart
that
guy.
figure, but they haven't practiced
Nobody else knows what that figure is.
Right. But they haven't practiced this sequence. They haven't put it all together. This is truly an unknown.
That's correct, yeah. So not only are the individual figures that make up the sequence potentially a surprise, but the way it's all strung together, and they have to memorize this as best they can. They do have a sequence card in the cockpit, but in my personal experiences, it's pretty hard to read that when you're flinging the airplane all over the sky.
Well, with so many movements in the figure, it's so complicated. I mean, they got to spend hours and hours and hours working on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The pilots will be studying it. They'll be making some notes where they want to be in the box, what altitudes they want to have, what airspeeds at certain points. And you'll see them walking around as if they were the aircraft, right? Looking straight up and rotating their bodies, kind of thinking through what the sequence is going to be like when they actually fly it.
Well, if you don't walk, I mean, you only have so many minutes in the sky. The physicality of this is so hard to do that, but on the ground you can walk it and walk it and walk it and get your subconscious tied in, so it becomes intuitive. But this is not an easy task at all. Are we getting a wing wag, or is he's going to do a warm up?
Yeah, I didn't see a wing wag, so I assume that Johnny is doing a safety maneuver here. Yep. We have had just outstanding weather this week, and the forecast continues to look just about ideal. It's on the warm side for the end of September, but nobody's complaining, believe me. Could have gone the other way. This morning we have a very high overcast deck, which makes it much easier for the judges to see what's going on with the aircraft. It can be difficult to judge if the aircraft is near the top of the box and the sky is pure blue. But with some cloud background, the aircraft shows up much more prominently to the judges. Our chief this morning is Hector Ramirez, longtime chief of the advanced category here at Nationals. I believe he's got a crew of 5 judges, each of whom has an assistant and a recorder. He has several assistants to work the radios, check the paperwork as it comes back from the judges. We've got a videographer out here because we do video every flight at Nationals, and those videos can be reviewed if need be to settle any controversies, ascertain exactly what occurred during a given maneuver, should there be any dissent or disagreement amongst the judges. It takes quite a crew to put all this on.
Well, and the excellence of these pilots, and same with the judges, same with all the volunteers. I mean, we're all here for the same reason. Okay, we're on that quest.
Yep.
And man, I'm so honored to be here and proud to be a part of this group.
Johnny Wacker has dived into the box, doing his wing wags. Up he goes on figure 1, which by the way is a downwind start. 3/4 roll on the up line, 2 of 8 opposite. Now 3/4 radius with the 4 of 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing that 3/4 radius at the bottom as he returns horizontal, 3 of 4. And 3/4 roll opposites. All right, figure 2, pull to the vertical. 1 1/4 rolls. This is to a tail slide where the aircraft backs up as the pilot cuts the power. Judges are looking to see that the aircraft flops straight over without falling off on a wing or any roll movement to it. 3/4 inside, snap on the down line, return to the horizontal, end of figure 2. Figure 3, double Humpty bump, pull to the vertical, 3 of 4 on the up. Pull a half loop radius. As the aircraft draws a downline, 2-point roll. Judges are looking for exactly 180 degrees rotation with perfect stops, no problem, and the roll must be centered on the line. From there, the aircraft goes back up again, 1/4 roll, and then lays out inverted. The judges also grade the pilots on how well they present each program. It needs to be at a good viewing angle for the judges, balanced left and right. So Johnny drove that a little bit in between figures there so he could put the spin right in front of the judges. 1/4 spin with a half roll, same direction, pull back to the vertical. 4 on the upline. And because it was a 1 1/4 spin, he changed axes, and he's now going away from us on the y-axis. So x-axis is left to right, y-axis is towards and away from the judges. Next figure, number 5, begins with a pull down to the vertical, 1/4 roll. This is another double Humpty Bump. Pull back to the vertical. Finally, we have a vertical line with no rolls on it. This has been a busy sequence up to this point. It'll get busy again in a moment. Half loop radius pushing over the top. And now on the vertical down line, a half roll. Pull back to horizontal, end of figure 5. Figure 6 begins with a full roll, followed by a half loop up. 3 of 2 on the horizontal. 1, 2, 3, inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure. Number 7 is a horizontal 8. Begins with a 5/8 radius. So Johnny's pulling down from inverted, and then 5/8 of a loop will put him on a 45-degree upline. 4-point roll, and these point rolls, the judges want to see precise rotation, no bobbles on the stops, and identical rates of roll for all 4 points and identical pauses between the points. Okay, still in the same figure now. He's pushing around for the second 5/8 loop, which will bring him back up to a 45-degree upline. 3/4 roll one direction, 3 of 4 opposite. And that leaves the aircraft inverted on the 45 upline, and from there he'll lay out to the horizontal end of figure 7. Figure 8 is rest and relaxation by comparison. Is just a half loop down. And if Johnny's anything like me, he'll take a breath at this point, use the opportunity to look around at the box, and wham, right back into figure 9, which starts with double roll to a half loop up. 2-point roll on top. Outside, snap and a half opposite. From there, the aircraft pulls to the vertical again, this time with limited airspeed, so shorter upline. Push half loop radius over the top. Again, we can see the wind drift in the aircraft, and pilots need to place their sequence to compensate for the effects of the wind. Half roll on the down line, pull out, finish upright, end of figure 10, figure 11, lay down up to 45 up, full inside snap. Now a half loop radius. Brings him to a 45, inverted down line, roll and a half. From there, we'll bring the aircraft upright, pull out, end of figure 12. This is called a sharp tooth, where the aircraft pulls to vertical, full outside snap. Called a sharp tooth because it's a triangle, looks kind of pointy. It's not unlike a half Cuban 8, except that instead of a continuous radius, you stop and fly a vertical for a little bit. There's a 2 of 2 on the 45 down line, and from there, push out. Figure 13, double Humpty Bump again, push to the vertical. No rolls on the upline. Push over the top. Vertical down line, he'll fly a 1/4 roll, puts him on the y-axis momentarily, pull to the vertical. 1/4 roll again, and didn't really matter that much which way the first 1/4 goes, but the second 1/4 roll direction is critical, because if you roll the wrong way, you'll be going the wrong direction at the end of the figure. Johnny got it right. He's headed upwind now for a final figure, number 14. Starts with a 45 down line, inside snap and a half. Leaves the aircraft inverted, and from there, a long push up to the vertical. So from 45 down, he's pushing through the horizon and all the way up to vertical. 4 of 8 roll. So aircraft needs enough power to hang on that vertical long enough to do 4 of 8 rolls and cap off, end of figure, end of sequence. That was Johnny Wacker flying sequence golf here at the U.S. Nationals free unknown flight number 1.
You know, you halfway through the sequence, it looks like they can take a little bit of breather after all that energy going on the first 5 figures, and then it looks like they did a break, regroup, and that's why they probably chose this sequence too.
Yeah, I'm sure that factored in, absolutely. Anyone designing a sequence is going to look for, is going to try to achieve a few things. Definitely, I'm a big fan of having some easier maneuvers in the middle so you can catch your breath and regroup. They're going to want the altitudes to work out. They're going to want the energy to work out. And something else is cross-box figures. So if you're only flying left to right and right to left in front of the judges and the wind is blowing you either into or away from the judges, you're kind of stuck. There's not that much you can do. So you definitely want sequences that go onto the y-axis so you can drive towards or away from the judges and compensate for any cross.
And I really enjoy when they do the polls coming right at the judges. You know, in airshow flying, you're not allowed to go to the crowd. And so that is a really nice look. It's very dynamic. It's very dramatic when they're coming at you and doing a poll. And that's presentation, isn't it?
Yep.
Pretty fun. And it's, I just can't believe these airplanes have so much capacity for performance, because I mean they are just going around the corners. I mean, making these perfect designs in the sky, and I can't believe they're still flying.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, I mean, kind of depends on your definition of flying. I think a lot of times the propeller is doing all the work.
Oh yeah, you got horsepower.
Little to no airflow over the wings at many points here.
Okay, here comes Mr. Bourboon's coming up.
Yep, Jeff Boerboon. He's, and I think he's probably been cleared in the box, I assume, for a safety figure. Jeff is another dual threat, both IC competition and air shows.
Right, and he's great at both.
He is.
He's just a class act. I mean, he's just a huge mentor to the new people coming up. He has lots of wisdom. He's been around the patch a lot. He loves flying that yak where he's got a jet engine and 2 round motors. I mean, he's an international air show pilot and he's been on the U.S. team a number of times, hasn't he? He's gone to the Worlds.
Yep, and he is vying to join the team this year as well. The World Aerobatic Championships for 2026, as Jeff dives in for a safety figure. The World Aerobatic Championships next year will be in the United States. It only happens about once a decade, and it will be in Batavia, New York. That's a real treat for the U.S. pilots who don't have to either ship their aircraft or rent someone else's aircraft overseas. This time it'll be other pilots from other countries who have to make that choice as to how they're going to get an aircraft to fly.
And he chose us about the Hammerhead, and I've seen AJ did the same thing, and I'm wondering if because they're just checking the upper level winds and seeing what drift is.
That's possible. I'm sure that they're checking the winds. And as we said, the official wind today is from the south, and we've seen visual confirmation of the aircrafts drifting to the north on those vertical lines. So Hector picked the right wind direction.
He sure did, and it's pretty calm on the ground, but I think they said it was about 19 knots out of the south at 3,000 feet. And so there's something up there.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an increase. We were looking at more like 10 knots on the prior 2 days of flying. So a little bit more challenge, but nothing these pilots can't handle. Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is DJ Molney, Chief of the Judges Program for the International Aerobatic Club, joined by world-renowned airshow pilot Sean D. Tucker. We're here in Salina, Kansas for the 2025 U.S. National Aerobatic Championships, Day 3.
Retired airshow pilot. Happily retired.
If you say so, sir. If you say so.
Happily retired. It's really nice staying at home. I really love that.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
And this is coming back to the competition is scratching an itch that I can't tell you how happy I am to be with these athletes, and they are committed athletes looking for perfection in the sky. I mean, it's just lovely. I'm going to really be a huge fanboy when it comes to trying to have people join the IAC, because what a great community. I forgot that there's so many great people here, all for the right reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The joy of flight and doing it safely.
Absolutely. It's a very special community. I've been doing this close to 30 years, and
You don't look a day over 35. I guess you started young.
I think the color of my hair and my waistline says otherwise, but okay, sure. Thank you very much. So Jeff has completed his safety figure. It looks like he's on base leg for the box. He's rolled into final approach. He's on about a 45-degree downline, wagging his wings to signal the judges that he means business, and he's going to start the sequence for real. Figure 1 with a downwind start is a pull to the vertical. 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite, into a 3/4 radius with a 4-point roll during the radius. And that roll needs to be centered about the radius. So if it starts 10 degrees before the top, it needs to finish 10 degrees after. The judges will deduct 1 point for every 5 degrees if that's misaligned, if in fact it is. And at the bottom of that looping segment, he does 3 of 4, 1 direction, 3/4 opposite, and now into figure 2. Pull to the vertical, 1 1/4 rolls. This momentarily puts him on the y-axis. As the airplane runs out of steam, Jeff will cut the power. The aircraft will slide backwards, flop with the wheels up for a tail slide. Now a 3/4 inside snap will put him back on the x-axis, left to right in front of the judges. Pull out, end of figure. On the double humpties and those various push-pull combinations. This is a pull humpty to start with, 3 of 4 on the upline. Half loop inside. So he pulls down to the vertical, a 2-point roll. Pull again up to the vertical. 1/4 roll on the upline. Layout inverted. End of figure. Next figure begins with a 1 1/4 turn inverted spin. So as the aircraft slows, Jeff is easing the stick forward, and when a stall break occurs, he'll push the rudder he wants, and the aircraft will spin from there. And there we go, as 1 1/4 rotations. Now a half roll in the same direction, pull to the vertical, 4-point roll on the upline. Layout inverted on the y-axis, and his choice of direction takes him away from the judges. He could have done the spin in either direction, but since he started closer to the judges than the back of the box, he chose to fly away from the judges there during the spin. Now he pulls down, 1/4 roll back to the x-axis, pull to the vertical. This is another double humpty, so here comes the second radius as Jeff pushes over the top. Half roll on the downline. Pull out. End of figure. Figure 6 starts with a full roll to a half loop up. 3 of 2 on top. By that we mean 3 half rolls in a row. Full inside, snap and a half, same direction, end of figure. Number 7, that's a long one. It's a horizontal 8. Starts from inverted, pull 5/8 of a loop to a 45 upline. On the 45 upline, a 4-point roll, 1, 2, 3, 4. The aircraft is upright, and so the next 5/8 radius will be a push. Jeff is literally pushing forward on the stick, diving at first, and then bringing the aircraft through the horizontal back up to a 45-degree angle. 3/4 roll one direction, 3 of 4 opposite. Whew. And after all that, layout inverted, end of figure. Wow. Number 8, This counts as rest and recovery, believe it or not. It's a half loop down with no rolls. Jeff can assess his position in the box, take a deep breath, get ready, go back to rock and roll mode, and here he goes. Double roll, start figure 9 to a half loop up. 2-point roll on top of the radius, outside, snap and a half. That's where you push the stick forward and stomp on a rudder. End of figure. Figure 10 is a pull, push, pull, Humpty Bump. So you start by pulling back on the stick to the vertical. There are no rolls on the upline. Aircraft had limited energy after that prior half loop up. So the sequence designer wisely decided not to try any rolls there. Now he's on the down line, plenty of energy, half roll on the down. Pull to level, end of figure. Number 11, lay down. This one happens on a 45-degree angle. Full inside snap on the 45-degree upline, followed by a half loop radius that, since he started on a 45 up, will bring him around to a 45 down line. 1 1/2 rolls. The aircraft builds speed, and I think he's deliberately losing altitude to bring the sequence back down to ideal viewing position for the judges. Into figure 12, shark tooth, pull to the vertical, full outside snap on the upline. Pull to the 45 down. 2 of 2. Aircraft returns to inverted, and from there push out to the horizontal. Figure 12, another double Humpty Bump. Starts with a push to the vertical, no rolls on the upline. Another trick of sequence design, by the way, is to put the hard stuff up front while you're fresh, and then leave somewhat easier maneuvers later on in the sequence. And believe it or not, this counts as a somewhat easier figure. Quarter roll on the down line, pull back to the vertical, quarter roll on the upline. Push to the horizontal, which is also known as capping off the figure. End of 13. Figure 14, push to the 45 down. As Jeff drives back to center box, now we have the 45 down line. Inside snap and a half. Leaves the aircraft inverted. From there, push to the vertical. It's 135 degrees of pitch change. 4 points of an 8-point roll on the upline, cap off, end of figure, end of sequence. Jeff Boerboon flying sequence golf in the free unknown 1.
These guys mean business. These guys mean business. That's all I gotta say.
You can almost feel the mental focus from down here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, we're going to the H next on the next sequence.
Hotel, you say?
Hotel, sir.
And who is our pilot?
Mr. Marco Bouw in the Sukhoi, our only Sukhoi.
Our only Sukhoi, yeah.
Su-31.
These were more popular in the 90s and early 2000s. Manufactured in Russia.
Manufactured
radial engines.
Yes, sir.
Definitely radial here.
Yep.
Meaning the cylinders are arrayed in a circle. Oh, Hector's just announced a 10-minute break.
Oh, I like that.
So we'll take a breather and rejoin you here shortly at the U.S. Nationals in Salina. All right, welcome back to the U.S. Nationals Free Unknown 1 in the unlimited category. We thought we were on a 10-minute break, but I think next competitor, Marco Bouw, is already up in the air, and Chief Judge Hector Ramirez has let him fly the safety figure, and we're anticipating start of Marco's competition sequence here momentarily. The first three that we saw, first three pilots, flew sequence golf. Marco is flying H for hotel. The same mandatory figures, but strung together in a different way and with different connectors. Marco's high up on a base leg now for the box. Looks like he's rolling it onto final.
He's up there.
He is up there.
Got the wing wags.
Wing wags. There we go. This figure, this sequence also has a downwind start. It's the same initial figure as in sequence golf, pulled with a vertical 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite, followed by a 3/4 radius with a 4-point roll on the top. Pulling around to the horizontal, we have 3 of 4 roll in one direction, 3/4 roll opposite, and a figure. Figure 2 is a pull to the vertical. 1 1/4 roll on the upline to a wheels up tail slide. Aircraft is framed well for the judges here. They can see it slide backwards, flop with the wheels pointing at the sky, now established downline, 3/4 inside snap. Return to the horizontal, and to figure 2. Figure 3 is a double Humpty bump. Starts with pull to the vertical, 3 of 4. Pull half loop down. Two-point roll on the downline. Unlike the extras, which are more of a high-speed aircraft, the Sukhoi is more of a tractor. It has a big 3-bladed prop, can fly with almost no airspeed, just goes uphill forever. All right, end of figure. From inverted, Marco will stall the aircraft, kick a rudder, and perform a 1 1/4 turn spin. It's his choice to go right or left at this point. And he is spinning the aircraft to the right, half roll opposite, so now he's coming towards the judges on the y-axis. Pull back up to the vertical, 4-point roll. Layout inverted, end of figure. Just about center box now, high and close to the judges, so he'll drive the aircraft away a little bit before beginning figure 5, which is pull to a vertical down. 1/4 roll puts him back now on the x-axis. Pull around up to the vertical, half roll. Pull another half loop to vertical down.
Look at that thing, tractor.
Yeah, it's probably going over the top at about 20 knots, is my guess. No rolls on the vertical down line. Pull the horizontal, end of figure. Number 6 is a full roll to a half loop up. 3 of 2 at the top. Followed by an inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure, number 7. This is the horizontal 8, starts with a 5/8 radius pulling downwards. After 5/8 of a loop, the aircraft's headed uphill, 45 degrees. 4-point roll on the upline. Now another 5/8 radius, this time it's a push instead of a pull. I'm going to hazard a guess that this radius here is going to be the most negative G's the pilot sees during these sequences. Keep pushing it on around across the bottom to another 45 upline, 3/4 roll, followed by 3 of 4 opposite. 1, 2, 3. Aircraft's now inverted on the 45 up, layout inverted. End of sequence. Number 8, half loop down. Yep. Simple half loop down, end of figure. Number 9 starts with a double roll. So half loop up. Two of 2. Outside snap and a half opposite direction. End of figure. Number 10's a hammerhead. No rolls on the up or the down. Fun fact about outside snaps. On an inside snap, you snatch the stick back, and if you stomp left rudder, the aircraft goes left. For an outside snap, you shove the stick forward, stomp left rudder, the aircraft goes right, because you've stalled the wing from the top instead of the bottom. And it's the other wing that drives you around. Kind of a brain bender.
You're confusing me.
Yeah, trust me, it's just as confusing up there. All right, that's it for the hammerhead. Into figure 11, the lay down Humpty bump. Full inside snap on the 45 up. Half radius. Rolling half on the 45 down. End of figure, number 12, shark tooth. Full outside snap on the upline. Pull 45 down. 2 of 2 on the 45. And from there, push out to the horizontal. Figure 13, another double Humpty bump, starts with a push. Radius over the top, and a fluke radius now. There's another push. At high speed, these are hard pushes. At low speed, these are easy pushes. If Marco's experiencing any negative G at all over the top of that, it was minimal. Now, quarter roll. Pull back to another vertical, followed by another quarter roll. Cap off, which means push the stick forward till the aircraft is flying horizontal. With low airspeed, of course, the nose of the aircraft will be up somewhat. Won't be in a horizontal attitude, but the judges are looking for a horizontal track. If you were to shrink the airplane down to a dot, you'd want to visualize that as flying a perfect horizontal line. And from that horizontal line, Marco's now pushing to a 45 down for the final figure, inside snap and a half. Leaves him inverted, and he will push around to a vertical upline. 4 of 8 roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cap off. End of figure, end of sequence. Marco Bouw in the Su-31.
Marco compels me to want to try out a Sukhoi, just to see what it's like to fly a tractor.
You should.
That was great. That's
should.
awesome. They're just doing beautiful. They're not, nobody's weakening. It's just something else. Something else. And talking about that line, so you're pulling a square loop, and so you got to pull pretty 6, 7 Gs, 8 Gs on the vertical up, getting into the loop, and then how many Gs do you think you're pulling to have that same radius on the top?
You're referring to?
No, I'm just talking just
general?
Yeah, in general.
Well, as the aircraft slows, you need a lot less G, and of
Right.
course you can't pull very hard or it will stall. So over the top of these, if you have some radius that goes over the top, like this 3/4 radius that we see, the G's over the top will be minimal. In fact, you're kind of floating the aircraft.
And then even though the nose is pointed up a bit, as long as you just keep that horizontal line level and keep it level, that's what the judges are looking at.
Yep, and as the aircraft accelerates, of course, you'll be bringing the
Nose
nose
is coming
back
down, yeah.
closer to the horizon.
See, I'm getting tips from you, so for my next flight. I'm getting tips from you. That's great.
I've been told I'm a little bit of a mean judge because I'll call out any little imperfection. So, you want me to tune you up sometime.
Well, the
just
thing
let me
is,
know.
that's not being a mean judge. That's being holding us accountable so we can get better.
The rule book says that we are to deduct for any variation from the criteria, no matter how small, minimal deduction of half a point. Each figure is scored 0 to 10. Each figure has a difficulty factor known as the K factor. You take the judges' scores, average them out, multiply it by the K factor. That's how many points you get for the figure. Whoever gets the most points wins.
That's it. That's it. And that's fair and square.
Speaking of most points, I noticed that you, sir, are on top of the leaderboard right now after the known flight.
It's so amazing. I just kept my head together, and it's hard. It's real. I was at a camp the week prior, and the last 2 days, I just wasn't flying very well, so I just stopped and regrouped, flew with joy, and no zeros, no outs. So it felt good. I really had fun.
Good.
It's amazing. It doesn't matter if you're flying in front of 2 million or 20. You're nervous. You still get nervous?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that? I think that's part the compelling part.
In a good way. It's not adrenaline.
Oh,
nervous.
No. It's just it's a performance. It's a performance.
Sure.
And, this is performance art. That's all there is to it. This is just so exquisite.
And
to
it's
watch
really
the
fun
best in the country.
Really fun when it all comes together, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got Craig Gifford in the G form.
Okay, so back to sequence golf. As I said, exactly half the competitors have opted to fly this sequence. It's a testament to its designer. Craig is in his safety figure now. Yeah, so far everybody, there's 10 different figures you can choose from, but each one of the unlimited pilots has chosen to do just a simple hammerhead to test out their aircraft systems and get themselves warmed up a little bit. And he follows that with a half roll, verifies that the inverted fuel and oil are working the way they're supposed to, and back to upright. Sean, you and I were talking earlier about how, I don't want to jinx anything, but just how smoothly everything has been running here. Our contest director, Shad Colson, is in his 3rd year of directing the Nationals. Shad is nothing if not a details guy.
Oh, it's awesome.
And he is just on top of everything.
And he's happy.
Yes.
He leads by example, and he's happy, and he gets the best out of all his volunteers.
And he empowers his volunteers, you know. As long as you're getting the job done and everything is, all the tasks are covered the way they should be, volunteers have a pretty free hand. And we've got I'm going to say, a pretty well-oiled and very large and complex machine working here.
Okay.
All right, Craig Gifford, who is on top of the leaderboard after the free known, is now in the box, ready to rock for his free unknown one flight. Post the vertical, 2 of 8 opposite into a 3/4 radius, 4 of 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull around to the horizontal. 3 of 4 on the horizontal. 1, 2, 3, and 3/4 roll opposite end of figure. Pull to the vertical for the tail slide. 1 1/4 rolls on the way up. This is a wheels up tail slide. Extra climbing with ease, thousands of feet at a crack. There's the flop. Aircraft's now on the down line. 3/4 inside snap to bring him back to the x-axis, following that 1 1/4 roll on the up. Out to the horizontal, done. Figure 3, double empty bar, pull vertical, 3 of 4 on the up line. Half loop to the vertical down. Two of 2. Pull back to vertical, up. 1/4 roll. Layout inverted. End of figure. From here, 1 1/4 spin. We can hear Craig adjusting the power. He wants to drive a little bit before he drops his spin. Then you hear the power come out. Lets the aircraft slow, easing forward on the stick. Looking for that stall. There it is. Kicks the rudder. 1 1/4 spin, followed by a half roll in the same direction. Pull to the vertical. 4-point roll on the up line. Layout inverted. Now on the y-axis, he's high and close to the judges. Will take the aircraft away from the judges, keep it at the optimal viewing angle. In addition to each figure being scored, at the end the judges give the pilot an overall presentation rating, also from 0 to 10. Now in figure 5, it's double Humpty's back on the vertical. He's going to push over the top. And that presentation score at the end of the sequence is worth about as much as any other figure. So it's like an added figure, but it's the judge's subjective impression of how well the competitor has presented the program. Best viewing angle and pacing and balance. Figure 6 begins with a full roll, half loop up, 3 of 2 on top. 1, 2, 3, inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure. Number 7 begins from inverted. This is the horizontal 8. Pull 5/8 loop down to a 45 upline, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 radius. This time a push. To a 45 upline. 3/4 roll. So from inverted, he's going to roll 3/4 of the way around a knife edge, followed by 3 of 4 opposite, puts him back where he started on the inverted 45 upline, layout, end of figure. Now number 8, a simple half loop down. It's getting bright enough out here, it's time to switch to the sunglasses. Figure 9, double roll to a half loop up. 3 of 2 on top. Inside, snap and a half, same direction. Finish. Oh, sorry, I was reading the wrong figure, my apologies. We're now on to number 10. This is a Humpty Bump, pull to the vertical. Push over the top. I made the mistake that occasionally pilots do up in the sky. I was looking at the wrong line on the sequence form, but it's a good thing I was calling, not flying. That's all I got to say. Okay, end of figure 10. Now for a 45 Humpty Bump. Over 45, full inside snap. Long line before the snap, long line after the snap. Aircraft's got a ton of energy going into this figure. Now he pulls around half radius to 45 down, roll and a half to upright. Pull out end of figure.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir. Pull to the vertical, full outside snap. Pull to the 45 down. Two of 2. So from upright, inverted to upright, back to inverted. Push out to the horizontal end of figure. Number 13, the final double Humpty Bump. Pull to the push, excuse me, to the vertical. Push the half radius over the top. Quarter roll down, pull back to the vertical up, quarter roll, cap off, end of figure. You can see the aircraft accelerate out of that airspeed hole that he was in, following the vertical line. Now he's pulled the throttle back a little bit, so he needs to dive on 45 down and pull 1.5 inside snap. Leaves him inverted, pushes to the vertical up, 4 of 8. Cap off. End of figure, end of sequence. Craig Gifford in the 330 SC with his free unknown 1 performance.
So Craig probably woke up at 5 this morning, maybe 4:30.
Oh, he slept in?
Yeah,
Okay.
went to the briefing, walked it. It's only 9:06. How long are they going to take a nap for? It's only 9:06.
It's true. Starting the day off with a bang.
It's called the G outside and a negative G and a positive G sandwich. I don't know if I want that big a sandwich in the morning. That's all there is to it. That hurts. Next up we got Mr. Luke on the eye.
Okay, Luke Penner, Form India, Sequence India.
are a Canadian.
One of them.
We got two.
Anyone who's watched Flight Chops on YouTube, great series of videos out there. Steve, who owns the yellow RV-14, is here. He's competing in Sportsman.
Oh, that's
that
great.
Aircraft. Yep. Fun guy. Got to chat with him a little bit out on the ramp the other day.
You know what? I just have aged out. I'm not on Facebook. I don't even know how to get to YouTube. I got to get this figured out.
YouTube.com.
Okay. You're not retired, are you?
I am not. I'm still working.
Okay.
Yep. Software engineering. Keeps me out of trouble and funds my aviation
There
addiction.
you go. Everything has to fund our aviation addiction.
Yep.
You married?
Look
Yeah, you got a great wife.
she's quite understanding. My wife's quite understanding.
So do I. So do I.
Gives me a hall pass to come here for 8 days a year. Hang out with my aviation buddies, make some new friends while I'm at it. Well, as we commented in the first flight, this category is dominated by extras, specifically
Right.
the 330SC single-seat model.
Is that because it's the best, or it's the most reliable, or I mean the performances are pretty.
Performance is pretty tremendous. I think they weigh about 1,250
Okay.
pounds. They have
Yeah.
about 330 horse motor.
Yeah.
You know, so okay, Luke's coming in for his safety figure now. The design of the aircraft has been refined from the original mid-wing extra 300 to the 300L low wing, 300S single-seater, a lot of variants in the 300 line, and the 330SC is, of course, very popular as well in the air show circuit.
Yeah.
And some aircraft are built more to do extreme maneuvers with more ease. I think the Gamebird probably falls in that category. Can be flown quite well in competition, but other aircraft are tuned a little bit more towards competition, and I would kind of put the 330SC on that end of the spectrum.
Well, and I think the judges around the world are used to that planform, that look, that
Yes.
wing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And as I say, the thrust to weight is excellent in that aircraft, as is the control surfaces maneuverability. If you've ever seen one of these airplanes up close, you'll be impressed by the enormous size of the control surfaces relative to a traveling kind of airplane like a Cessna Piper like that. The ailerons span are almost run the full length of the wing. These aircraft can all roll in excess of 360 degrees a second.
Easily.
Yeah, some of them approaching 500 degrees a second. Just amazing roll rates. Big elevators, so rapid pitch changes, big rudders, so you can control things like hammerheads. Yep. Lots of controllability. Very light on the controls typically. So if you're used to kind of manhandling an airplane around, you'll be surprised.
No, it's wonderful airplanes. I love my Gamebird. You know, there's two manufacturers now. We have the Extra 300. I mean the Extra series. Now we have the Gamebird, so there's options. Mm-hmm. You know, I love the being able to take a passenger with me is great, and it still can perform unlimited aerobatics. It's a much better airplane than I am pilot. Hopefully I'll get there one of these days. I have two Extra 300s I train in, so I love both airplanes.
Yeah, there's a lot to love. These are just fantastic machines. All right, Luke Penner diving in now for sequence India. Free unknown one here at the U.S. National Championships 2025. Figure number one, same as it has been in the prior sequences. It's the pull to the vertical 3/4 roll with 2 of 8 opposite to a 3/4 radius with a 4-point roll on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull back around to the horizontal. 3/4 rolls in a row, followed by a continuous 3/4 roll, end of figure. Figure 2, pull to the vertical, 1 1/4 rolls on the upline. Wheels up, tail slide. Hey, there's the flop in the tail slide. Aircraft goes from straight up to straight down. 3/4 inside snap. pull out, downwind, end of sequence. Double Humpty Bump, pull to the vertical, 3 of 4. This would be a figure that the sequence designer put in. It's not mandatory. This would be one of their kind of connectors, if you will. Pull around to a vertical down, 2-point roll. And I know that's the case because we simply haven't seen this figure before, so it must have been an optional one added by whoever designed this sequence. Quarter roll on the upline, layout inverted, headed upwind. End of figure 3. Now we're back on one of the mandatory figures that the pilots were given. There's a 1 1/4 spin, inverted spin, I should say, as Luke drives the aircraft back to center box. You hear the power come out. You can see the nose going up just a little bit. Falls off on a wing for the spin entry. There's your 1 1/4 followed by a half roll, same direction. Pull to the vertical. 4-point roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. Layout inverted. Now on the y-axis, headed away from the judges. Next figure is another double Humpty Bump. Pull to vertical down, quarter roll. Puts Luke back on the x-axis. Pull to the vertical. No rolls on the upline for once. Push half loop radius for the second bump in this Humpty Bump, double Humpty Bump. Half roll. Pull out, headed downwind, end of figure 5. Figure 6 begins with a full roll to a half loop up. Three of 2 on top. 1, 2. Inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure. Number 7 is that horizontal 8 from inverted. Pull around to 45-degree upline. 4-point roll on the 45 up. Now push around for a second 5/8 radius. To a 3/4 roll and 3 of 4 opposite. Aircraft now on a 45 upline inverted. Lays out end of figure. Number 8 is a simple half loop down. One of the things that pilots who maybe are just beginning aerobatics or haven't tried it quite yet may not be aware of is that to make a radius like this look round, the stick is always moving.
Yep.
At the beginning, it's a gentle pull, and as the aircraft accelerates, you pull harder and harder. And it really requires muscle memory and a lot of coaching to get that stuff right. Figure 9, double roll to a half loop up. 2-point roll on the top, outside, snap and a half opposite. End of figure. Number 10, pull to the vertical. No rolls on the upline. This is a Humpty Bump. Pull, push, pull. Okay, there's our vertical upline. So here, Luke's starting by easing the stick as he comes through the horizon. Now he's pushing harder and harder to make the second half, as the aircraft accelerates, symmetrical with the first half while the aircraft was decelerating. Half roll on the down line, pull to the horizontal, end of figure. Number 11, pull to the 45, full inside snap. Very snappy. Pull a half radius around to a 45 down line. Roll and a half back to upright. End of figure, number 12, shark tooth, pull to the vertical. Full outside snap. When I say full, that means a 360-degree rotation of the aircraft. Pull the 45 down. 2 of 2. So it goes from inverted to upright, back to inverted. Now push out. And to figure number 13, just to make all the K come out, the difficulty in the overall sequence, we have a very simple push to the vertical up, cap off, end of figure, nope, one more, sorry. Yep, number 14 now, push to a 45 down. Full inside, snap and a half on the 45. Push the vertical. 4 of 8. Cap off. End of figure, end of sequence. Loop penner.
Let's talk about coaching. You know, you can fly and fly and fly and practice these figures to your heart's content, but without good coaching on the ground, what you think might be beautiful to you and what you think you're presenting to the audience is beautiful. If you don't have critique from the ground, it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
Well. Yeah, coaching is critical.
Absolutely true. There's some things you can see from inside the aircraft.
Right.
For example, if I'm just doing a roll on a horizontal, I'll know if I stop at this level. Other things, is my loop round? I don't know. You have to have someone on the ground telling you pull harder, pull less, load a little bit.
And you know, and coaches do it because love of the game, and they want to see you get better. And what I love about coaching as well is that I'm nervous in front of my coach. You know, somebody's watching, somebody's judging me, and so that kind of relieves the tension when you get into a contest because you've had eyes on you, and so you're used to people critiquing you and performing in front of them. So it adds a little bit more pressure. It's I got some of my staff for the Bob Hoover Academy. They're going to come compete for the first time, and I can teach them all these figures, and they're doing a great job. But we're going to hire a coach to make us really shine at that contest, because you put all this effort in. You better put the effort in with some good ground critique too.
Absolutely.
Okay, who do we got? Let's see. We got Ekaterina.
Kate Volkova, and she is flying which sequence? Golf?
Yep.
Okay.
Back to the G.
Back to popular sequence golf. We said Kate Volkova is from Russia, now residing in the United States. Yet another 330 SC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And she is coming in upwind. Interestingly, all the sequences so far today have had a downwind start, and that's a rarity. But as we were talking about in the free known, sometimes it's easier to make the sequence work if you start either cross box or downwind instead of the traditional upwind. Kate's done her 2-point roll. Now she's going vertical for her safety figure. I looked at the pilot participation numbers, and Kate has been to a huge number of contests this year. I can't imagine she's gotten to see home very often and traveling around from place to place. But don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure she's been to double-digit contests this year.
She's serious. She's in it to win it.
She is.
She is very, very committed.
For me, a busy year would be 4 contests, not a dozen.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This is my 3rd this year, and I would have loved to have 2 more before here. But I'll get 4 at the end. But you got to work to pay the bills.
Yep. All right, looks like she is back at altitude. We've talked a little bit about the box entry. That's something I've actually gotten coached on in the past. And it doesn't sound like a particularly critical maneuver compared to some of the other things that happen. But if you don't set up in the right location in the box, altitude and airspeed,
and good wing wags,
you're behind the 8 ball.
Right.
And it's hard to recover from a bad starting position or altitude or lack of airspeed. And so smart pilots will drill on the box entry just like they would any other figure. Okay, right now she's high and slow, pitch down 45 degrees, wing wags, signaling to the judges that she's going to begin her sequence. You'll hear the big Lycoming revved up. Figure 1, into the vertical. opposite. 3/4 inside radius, 4 of 4 on the top. When we say inside, we mean positive G, pulling back on the stick. Outside is negative G, pushing on the stick. As the aircraft hits horizontal, 3 of 4. 3/4 roll opposite end of figure. Figure 2, pull to the vertical. 1 1/4 rolls on the upline. Wheels up, slide. Again, the aircraft must back up at least 1/2 fuselage length. Kate did that and more. 3/4 inside snap with the down. There it is. Pull to the horizontal, end of figure. Into a double Humpty bump, 3 of 4 on the upline. Pull 1/2 radius to the down. Wind drift is still up there. Not too terrible, nothing the pilots can't compensate for, but they do need to compensate. 2-point roll on the down line. Pull back around to the vertical, still on the same figure. These go on for a while. So 1/4 roll. Layout inverted. End of figure. Kate's really using the whole box, bottom to top. Now we're looking for a 1 1/4 spin. Pilot's choice of direction here as they transit from the x-axis to the y. After the spin, 1/2 roll. As with most of the other competitors, Kate has chosen to take this away from the judges. Now, pull to the vertical, 4 of 4. Layout inverted. End of figure. Now she'll pull vertical down. Quarter roll. Pull the vertical up. No roll on the upline. Push 1/2 radius. Half roll on the down. Pull out, end of figure. Figure 6, full roll. To a 1/2 loop up. 3 of 2. Inside snap and 1/2, same direction. End of figure. Number 7 is the horizontal 8. 5/8 radius from inverted to 45 up. Four of 4 on the upline. Now push 5/8 radius. To a 45 upline. 3/4 roll, 3 of 4 opposite. Layout end of figure. Number 8, simple 1/2 loop down. This is something you would find in the Sportsman routine. And it gives the competitors a little bit of a break here mid-sequence. Okay, aircraft's wound up again, double roll. 1/2 loop up. Two-point roll on top, followed by an outside snap at 1/2 opposite direction. We keep saying same direction, opposite direction. It's critical that the pilots fly these sequences as drawn. If they were to go the wrong direction, that would zero the figure, but these are outstanding pilots. Nobody's made that kind of rookie mistake. Pull to the vertical, 1/2 loop radius to the vertical down, 1/2 roll. Pull the horizontal end of figure. Number 11, lay down up to 45, full inside snap. 1/2 radius to a 45 down. Another thing these pilots have to work on, now we're rolling half, is compensating for the wind on every radius. So as the wind is pushing them, they have to adjust their stick force to drive, to make the radius happen faster going downwind and slower going upwind. So it's yet another mental challenge. Okay, this is the shark tooth with a full outside snap on the up line. Pull to a 45 inverted down line. 2 of 2 roll. Push out to horizontal end of figure. Number 13, double humpy dump, push to the vertical, no rolls. Push a half loop radius. Quarter roll down. Pulled back to the vertical upline. Another quarter roll, cap off, end of figure. Push 45 down, full inside snap and a half. Push around now to the vertical up. Four of 8. Cap off. End of figure, end of sequence. Ekaterina Kate Volkova.
Very nice.
330 SC.
Very, very nice. And she resides in the States, works here full time, so she's trying for the team.
Cool. Very good.
That's a question.
Oh, I don't know. I have not. Kate's going by the way, exiting the box, re-entering the traffic pattern here in Salina. Yeah, I have not seen the list of who is and is not trying out for the team. So I'm not sure about that.
They're all flying like they're trying for the team.
All right, we had a bit of a false promise earlier of a break, but now I see the judges dispersing, standing up and stretching, so it looks like we're headed for some downtime here. This is DJ Molney and Sean D. Tucker at the U.S. National Championships 2025, Salina, Kansas. We'll be back.
take the blame. I roll the dice, hoping you feel the same. Feel the world is turning around me. High above the clouds with no company. High here in the driveway, doing donuts on the interstate.
Welcome back to the 2025 U.S. National Aerobatic Championships in Salina, Kansas. This is the International Aerobatic Club, the IAC's premier event every year. I'm DJ Molney, chair of the judges program, accompanied by Sean D. Tucker, world famous, he insists, retired air show pilot. We've just returned from a break in the flying. Give the judges a little time to stretch your legs, get a snack, beverage. We have Goody Thomas up next. Goody is where all the pilots are flying the free unknown 1 sequence. It's called the unknown 1 because they'll be required to do a different free unknown later in the week. That'll be the free unknown 2. Goody is coming into the box now for his safety figure. Up until now, all the sequences have started downwind, which is fairly unusual. Goody is flying sequence Alpha, which is actually going to begin upwind as sequences typically do.
And he probably is the most handsome guy out here. And he's fighting. He wants this really bad. He wants to be on the team. He's really prepared. I did a camp. I was at a camp with him the previous week, and he's very serious about putting his last 30 years of experience in for an opportunity to make this team.
Cool, very cool. Where did you guys go to camp?
Oh, at Newton, Kansas, just down the road.
Uh-huh. Not at all unusual for serious nationals competitors to do that, to get bring someone in to coach, and a group of pilots to get together, fly 2-3 times a day apiece, get critiqued, get some video, right?
Critique, video, and you know, Goody's been doing this a long time, and he realizes how hard it is on the body, and so he manages that very well.
Yeah.
He really is a student of the game, loves what he's doing. He's very inspiring to be around, and having a camp and being around people with that kind of passion is so inspiring.
He's a super friendly, easygoing guy, you know. Just always in an up mood, and great to work with, great to hang out with.
Big smile on his face all the time.
Yep. His first name is Goodwin. I called him that once. He said, no, way too formal, it's Goody. So there you have it, Goody Thomas. He's now on base leg for the box, it looks like. As I said, those of you watching the video, you've seen all the pilots start left to right. Goody is starting upwind, which would be judges right to left. This will be the first time we're seeing sequence Alpha. Again, it's mostly composed of the mandatory free unknown figures, then with some connector figures of the pilots, or the sequence designer's own choosing. For example, here I recognize figures 1, 2, and 3 from prior sequences, and then number 4 is a basic hammerhead, and that would be what's considered a connector figure that's added at the designer's discretion to kind of make it all flow the way it needs to.
And a bit of a breather, wouldn't you say?
Yes, indeed. I have flown a Giles G200, and that aircraft is very fast. I look for 180 knots through the box, and so the rest and relaxation, believe it or not, is when you're going straight up or straight down,
Right.
as in this hammerhead. Okay, here comes Goody. He's got the aircraft wound up. First figure is pull to vertical 3/4 roll. 2 of 8 opposite to a 3/4 radius, 4-point roll on top. He needs to start this roll before he reaches the apex of the loop and finish it at the symmetrical opposite point of the radius in order to avoid any potential downgrades. At horizontal, it's a 3 of 4 roll, down a 3/4 roll opposite, and to figure 1. Figure 2 is this tail slide we've seen before, pull to the vertical 1 1/4 roll. Wheels up slide. That wind drift is still there, possibly a little stronger than it was earlier. 3/4 inside snap on the down. Pull out, finish upright, going upwind. End of figure 2. Okay, Goody is passing center box now, begins figure 3 with a double roll to a half loop up. 2-point roll on the top. Outside snap at half opposite. End of figure number 4. Your simple hammerhead, pull to the vertical. Here, as the aircraft slows, pilots are required to put in some aileron input to counteract the torque of the propeller, and some right rudder as well for the Lycoming engines. As they reach the top, they reverse that rudder, put it to the floor, pivot the aircraft around 180 degrees, and come back down. It's a fun maneuver to fly. Sean, we were talking earlier about the need for ground coaching. That's another one. Someone has to tell you when to pivot, otherwise you're going to do it too early or too late. Into figure 5, the shark tooth, pull to the vertical. Full outside snap. Pull to the 45 down. And when I say someone tells you when to pivot, I'm talking about practice sessions. The pilots during the competition, of course, are not being coached. They're in radio communication with the chief judge. If they need to discuss anything during a flight or during a break, they can do that, but the pilots are on their own up there. Another connector figure, number 6. This is a push to the vertical, which would be followed by another hammerhead pivot. Goody is now headed downhill, accelerating rapidly, half roll. We'll have the aircraft facing upwind again, pull out to finish upright, and into figure 7, which is the 45 degree or lay down Humpty. So pull to 45 degrees, full inside snap. Pull a half radius to a 45 down line. Roll and a half to upright, pull out, end to figure. Figure 8, full roll, pull to the, pull a half radius. 3 of 2 on top. Snap and a half, same direction. That leaves the aircraft inverted. And now we're preparing for the horizontal 8. This begins with a 5/8 pull, 5/8 radius, as the pilot pulls around through the horizontal, back up to a 45 upline, 4-point roll. Now a push 5/8 radius. This is a 3/4 radius. I think I've been calling this wrong. At any rate, he's pushing around to a 45 upline. 3/4 roll, 3 of 4 opposite, layout, inverted, end of figure. Figure 10, he just came off a 45 upline. He's going to push right into another 45 upline. From there, pull to a vertical down line, no rolls. Pull out, upright and downwind, end of figure. Number 11, double Humpty bump. Pull vertical, 3 of 4 on the upline. Pull a half radius to the vertical down. 2-point roll. 1, 2, pull to the vertical. Quarter roll, layout and vertical. This is a down Humpty bump, beginning with a 1 1/4 turn spin. We hear the power coming out as the aircraft decelerates. Coming close to stall speed, waiting for the brake. There it is. 1 1/4 rotations. Half roll, same direction. Pull, half loop to the vertical up. Four-point roll on the upline. Again, looking for even roll rates and even pauses between the quarter rolls. Layout inverted, end of figure, and Goody is coming towards the judges. Now he will pull down for yet another Humpty bump, quarter roll. Puts him back on the x-axis. Pull up to vertical. 1/2 roll on the upline. Cap off end of figure. Just hanging the airplane off the prop there. And that extra just tractors right out of the hole and accelerates. Now he's ready to push to 45 down, pulls power back out so as not to exceed the optimum snap speed for the aircraft. 1.5 snap rolls. Push to vertical up. Four points of an 8-point roll on the upline. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cap off. End of figure. End of sequence. Goody Thomas.
That was interesting. Interesting sequence selection. Kind of really all made sense to me. I noticed Goody did a lot of rolls to the right.
Okay.
Yeah, is he doing it? It's easier for me to do point rolls to the left because I always do them to the left. Is he doing that because, to show the judges to differentiate himself from the other competitors?
It's possible, quite possibly, yeah. At some rolls, the direction is critical, and in others, it doesn't matter. So we had that figure 6 hammerhead with a half roll in the down line. It doesn't matter if you do a half roll to the left or a half roll to the right, you're going to end up facing the same direction. But these quarter rolls are critical. If you roll the wrong way, you're either going to put yourself in a bad position or you're going to zero the whole darn figure.
Yep. No zeros so far, huh?
Right. Well, the grading judges make those decisions, but no one has done
Sure
anything
looks great to
blatant.
me.
I'm certainly going to say that.
Okay. Our incredible test pilot, Mr. Grohsmeyer, is showing up.
Okay. Which sequence is Steve flying?
Let's see what he's got. He's got the E.
Echo?
Let's see. He's an engineer. Let's see why he chose that.
E for engineer, of course. So our unlimited category here at Nationals is sponsored by the MX Aircraft Company, and Steve is flying the MX-2. The other aircraft we've seen so far have steel tube fuselages, fiberglass skins, typically carbon fiber wing spars and composite skins. The MXs are 100% composite aircraft.
Same as the Game Birds.
Like the Game Birds, like the Giles, and in fact the MX came out of the experimental kit planes, the Giles G200 and G202. The fuselage is what's called a monocoque fuselage, M-O-N-O-C-O-Q-U-E, I think, M-O-U-S-E. And what that means is it's essentially an oval tube of a fuselage with a seat glued into it. And you can look straight back from the seat right into the tail, and there's almost nothing obstructing your view. The composite skins have a weave and a grain to them, if you will, and they're laid onto the molds at an angle, and then the next layer is going to crisscross. So you have a grid of carbon fiber that is incredibly strong in all directions. These aircraft, all of these aircraft we see here today are good for at least plus 10 and minus 10 Gs. So a 1,500-pound aircraft can handle 15,000 pounds of load. And in fact, that's just the flying limit. The design limit is typically 50% higher than that.
Yeah, but all that being said, when you're pulling that kind of Gs, you better be keeping a look after your aircraft, because the plane is strong, but all the engine lord mounts and all that, rod end bearings, and I mean, the harder you fly the airplane, the more you need to look after your airplane. That's all there is to it.
If memory serves, you would tear down your biplanes every year.
Every single year.
And rebuild them.
And something was always broken. Okay, and I had a great team. I had 2 full-time mechanics that looked after it. I mean, we did a compression check, we did an oil change check after every air show. The engine, because it was a high-performance engine, was a 400-hour TBO. And I overhauled the airplane because I wanted performance.
So a typical 2,000-hour overhaul goes down to 400 when
400 hours. Well, it's, if you want performance, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I invested that money in that because I wanted to be successful. And you know, maintenance is key in this game. Safety first, always. Boy, look, Steve's way up there. Look at that wing way.
All right, so Steve has completed his safety figure. He's diving into the box now, got a lot of forward speed. Coming in that MX-2, gorgeous airplane. He's going to pull to the vertical, 3/4 roll. On the upline, followed by 2 of 8 opposite. Really rolled that fast on the first roll. 3/4 radius, 4-point roll on the top. I said earlier, judges don't grade radii on how hard or soft you pull. We also don't grade rolls on how fast you roll, but it certainly doesn't hurt to show the judges either a very smooth roll or a very aggressive roll. It just sets up their mindset that you're in full control of that airplane. All right, he's into figure 2 now, starting with a full roll, half loop up, 3 of 2, full inside, inside, snap and a half, same direction. End of figure 2. Figure 3 is the horizontal 8, so 5/8 radius to a 45 upline, 4-point roll. Now push, I've been saying 5/8 on the second radius, that's wrong. It's a 3/4 radius that takes him from a 45 up all the way around to another 45 up, pushing negative G's the whole way. 3/4 roll, 3 or 4 opposite, layout inverted, end of figure. Number 4 is a double Humpty bump. It's going to pull down, no rolls on the down line, pull 2 vertical up. Now a 1/4 roll, and there's a line between when he hits vertical and he does the roll. He's supposed to have the exact same line lengths both before and after the roll, and it's a downgrade if not. So in addition to everything else that's going on, you have to have good timing on your rolls. Pulls to the vertical down, 1/4 roll, finishes upwind, upright, end of figure 4. Figure 5 is the tail slide, 1 1/4 rolls on the upline. Again, rolling that airplane very fast. Full span ailerons on the MX series. Ailerons go from the edge of the cockpit all the way to the wingtip for a phenomenal roll rate. Now the aircraft backs up in the sky, wheels up, tail slide, 3/4 inside snap on the down. Now Steve smoothly brings the power back in. End of figure 5. Figure 6, lay down, Humpty bump, pull 45, full inside snap. Pull half loop. And Sean, you said you've known Steve for decades. He's now in his 70s and flying at the unlimited level.
Unbelievable. He's a phenomenal guy. Very dedicated. Everything he's done in his life, from his work to this is his play, and we can see how dedicated he is.
Yep, he's clearly very serious about it. Double roll to a half loop up, 2 of 2 on top. You don't get to this level without a lot of hard work. A lot of work. Full outside, snap and a half, opposite direction. There it is. Figure number 8. This is a Humpty bump, a double Humpty, pull to the vertical, 1/4 roll. Remember, he just came off a half loop up, and the airplane has enough stuff to pull vertical and do a 1/4 roll and pull back around to a vertical down line. There's no rolls on this particular down line. He's going to pull back to a vertical up line. 1/4 roll. Cap off, finish upwind, upright. Figure 9 is that sort of down shark tooth where he will push to a 45 down line. Inside, snap and a half. There it is. And from there, from that 45 down, we'll push 135 degrees of pitch to a vertical upline. That's 90 plus 45, in case you're wondering how we came up with that weird number of 135. 4 of 8 on the upline, cap off, end of figure.
He was telling me he's seeing -8 in these sequences.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's a lot of negative. And from there, from almost no airspeed, the airplane will accelerate, dig itself out of the hole, and Steve will do a 3/4 loop up, which most airplanes can't do from, I'm going to say VNE. He's able to do it in that aircraft with next to no airspeed. Half roll on the down. Pull out, end of figure. Another double Humpty bump coming up. Pull to the vertical, 3 of 4 on the upline. half loop to a vertical down line, 2 of 2 on the down, pull vertical, quarter roll up, layout inverted, end of figure. Steve's near the downward edge of the box. We talk about the box. It is a 1,000 meter square on the ground with high visibility markers at the corners. And so that's how the pilots know where they're supposed to be flying. Now we're into figure 12, which is a down Humpty Bump that begins with 1 1/4 inverted spin and a half roll same direction. Here's the half roll, pulls to the vertical. 4-point roll on the upline. Layout inverted. End of figure. Number 13 is another double Humpty Bump. It's going to pull down from the inverted position, quarter roll. It was on the y-axis finishing number 12, now in number 13, that quarter roll puts him back on the x-axis, left to right in front of the judges. Pull back to the vertical, no rolls on this particular upline, half radius over the top. No rolls on the vertical down line, pull out, end of figure. Number 14, sharp tooth, pull to the vertical. Full outside snap. Pull to a 45 down. Two-point roll. Push out. End of figure, end of sequence. Steve Grohsmeyer in the MX2.
Well executed. In it to win it, all of them.
Yeah, you also don't get to this level by if you don't have a real competitive spirit,
Yep.
right?
He is very serious.
These could be very nice folks, but they are serious about their sport.
They have their fangs out today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, speaking of serious, here comes Aaron McCarten and his Extreme Air S-Bach 300.
Which sequence will Aaron be-
India.
Okay, we've seen India once before. Again, the way these sequences come together is the pilots, I believe there's 10 mandatory figures. The pilots will individually submit one after another a figure and say, this needs to go into the sequence. There's a lot of rules around what figures are allowed and what can be repeated and what can't. And then they're allowed to put together a sequence of up to 14 figures with some connectors that kind of glue it all together and make it flyable and have some flow to it.
So the people who the pilots that contributed to the figure have already practiced that figure. They fly that well.
You would think so.
Yeah, and then the other guys is a surprise figure for them, right?
Yes. I heard tell of an international competition once. I won't name the country, but the pilots from that country submitted a push loop. So they start from horizontal and then push down, and an 8-point roll at the bottom. Okay, so the airplane has to keep flying a loop as it goes around in 1/8 rolls and come up to the top. And it turned out they weren't any good at flying their own figure. So it wasn't the best laid plan, we'll just put it that way.
And this is tough, and I understand the next one's going to be even tougher. The next unknown that they're going to do.
Oh, well, we shall see.
This is really tough.
Yeah, these are extremely busy sequences. If you were to hold up one of these free unknowns here at Nationals against the known sequence that the IAC headquarters publishes every year, you'd be startled by how much more difficult this is,
Yes.
even than a regular unlimited sequence. Aaron's coming down in the box now for a safety figure. That's hard to the vertical. Aaron is flying, I think technically an X-ray Alpha 4-1 aircraft. It is known colloquially as the S-Bach, designed by Philipp Steinbach of Germany. And this aircraft is the predecessor to today's Game Bird, also designed by Philipp Steinbach and manufactured in Bentonville, Arkansas. I had an opportunity to get a flight. A friend took me up in a Game Bird, and well, we had a hoot. Let's start there. The airplane, the cockpit, just makes you feel like you're in an Italian sports car.
It certainly
I mean,
does.
the layout is gorgeous. Everything is right, logistically, ergonomically, right where you'd want it to be. The finishes are wonderful, and then you get in, you fly the darn thing, and when that four-blade prop bites on takeoff, it just rockets off the runway. The control feel, I thought, was very nice in it. We played around with some spins. It definitely, that particular aircraft liked to spin right much more than left. But after a little practice, I was able to do a competition grade spin to the left. And then when we headed back to the airport, this is out in western Colorado, we're a good 15 miles from the airport. I just pointed the nose down about 3 to 5 degrees, and airspeed wrapped up to over 200 knots in a heartbeat.
It's
very clean airplane.
So I'm probably up by 600 hours in them now, and I got to tell you, I'm still learning. What I love about it is the legs. I mean, easily 800 nautical mile legs, okay, with reserves. But when you're fighting weather and you're trying to figure out how to get across the country VFR between all these cells, you can make a calculation. You can get to the point that you have to make the decision, and if you don't like your decision, you can fly back for 2 hours. And you can go almost cruise about 197 knots.
Good grief.
Okay, that's cruise. So if you got a 30-knot headwind, you're still in great shape.
Wow. Yeah.
No,
that's
wonderful airplane.
That's a
very
ton of
relaxed.
flexibility.
Yeah. I wish I would have ordered the autopilot, though. It's pretty nice with an autopilot. Okay,
All
here
right.
he comes.
Aaron is diving into the box. He's doing his wing wags, gaining a ton of speed. As the sequence India begins downwind like the others have, pull to the vertical, 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite,
Yeah.
3/4 radius, 4 of 4 on top. You can hear him adjusting the power as he goes around. Back to horizontal, 3 of 4 roll. 1, 2, 3, 3/4 roll opposite, end of figure. Figure 2 is the tail slide. Pull to the vertical. 1 1/4 roll on the upline. Wheels up, tail slide. The overcast is starting to break up a little bit. It's very high. The clouds have never been anywhere close to the box. But what was a solid overcast is giving us a little bit of blue sky now. 3/4 inside snap.
Yes.
Pull the horizontal. Exit downwind upright, end of figure number 3. Double octave, pull to the vertical. 3/4 roll, 3 of 4 roll. Half radius to the downline. Two of 2. Pull vertical. Quarter roll. Layout inverted. End of figure. Next is that down Humpty Bump that begins with a 1 1/4 turn inverted spin. The other thing about inverted spins, when you're upright, it can be a little confusing watching the world go around. When you're inverted, it's weird. It is an e-ticket ride. Okay, there's a 1 1/4. Now a half roll, same direction, pull vertical. 4-point roll on the upline. Layout inverted. End of figure. Again, showing good box awareness. Aaron has taken this maneuver away from the judges. Sets them up at a good viewing angle for the next figure, which starts with a vertical down, quarter roll, pull vertical, up. No rolls on the upline. push half radius. Half roll. Pull out end of figure. Figure 6, full roll to a half loop up. On top we have a 3 of 2 and an inside snap and a half. End of figure, now for the horizontal 8. 5/8 radius. Four-point roll on the 45 upline. Push 3/4 radius. Back to the 45 upline, 3/4 roll. 3 of 4 opposite. 1, 2, 3. Lay out inverted end of figure. Number 8 is that easy half loop down. A little bit of rest and relaxation, albeit momentary, for the pilot. Into figure 9, it starts with a double roll. Half loop up. Or I say double roll, that is 720 degrees of continuous rotation, during which the aircraft must continue on a perfectly horizontal track. Takes a lot of control coordination. 2 of 2 roll on the top, outside snap and a half end of figure. Number 10, pull to the vertical. No rolls on the upline. Half loop radius to a down line. Half roll, pull out, end of figure. Number 11, lay down Humpty, 45 upline, full inside snap. Aaron hits the snap early and fast. Pull around now, half radius to a 45 down. Roll and a half. Pull out end of figure. Number 12, sharp tooth. Full outside snap on the upline. Pull 45 down. Two-point roll. Leaves the aircraft in an inverted attitude. Push out, end of figure. Number 13, push to an upline. No rolls. This is one of those connector figures we talked about. Cap off, end of figure. And to finish the sequence, push 45 down. 1.5 inside snaps. Push to vertical upline. 4 of 8. Cap off. End of figure. End of sequence. Aaron McCarten in the XA41 S-Pod.
Yeah, baby. That's some flying. All of them are just great.
I like to think that you can almost sense the pilot's mood from down here, and I swear Aaron was probably having himself a ton of fun up there.
He's put it all together. Really put it all together, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate how much he gives to the community, to everybody. It's almost like it's a religion. I mean, it's a little cultish, you know, but we got it bad. But man, it's just wonderful. It's just what's wonderful to see everybody fly so well and put everything they have in it. They're not leaving anything off the table, right? They're putting it all on.
Yep.
All cards are in here.
Yep. And it is, I don't know about you, but after a hard practice or hard competition flight, I'm just physically tired. It's a lot of work, but it's fun work.
And you're probably just as emotionally tired too.
And mentally.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just we talk about this as if it's all physical challenge, muscle memory, and dealing with the G's and stuff, and it is. But at the same time, you have to be mentally on top of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And what figure comes next? Where am I in the box? Do I have the right airspeed? Do I have enough altitude?
You're making me nervous. I don't fly till tomorrow. You're making me nervous.
Hey, come on, you got one in a row. Just do the same thing again.
Okay. I'll try. This is Francois? Is it Francois or Francis?
Yeah, Francis Barros.
Yes. I just met him this week, and what a gentleman. What a really nice guy. Student of the game.
Yeah, as I understand, Francis is from Brazil, but he's based in Miami area. He's got cool paint scheme and logos and sayings on his airplane, all in Portuguese, which means I recognize about one word out of three.
I bet you he's a national hero.
I would think.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I ferried an extra 300 from the West Coast to South Florida, and it was ultimately headed to Brazil.
Did you take it over the water?
No, I did not.
You were smart.
It's not something I had any experience with. I was quite comfortable flying the extra, but the new owners, it was in the process of being sold. The new owners handled the flight to South America, and I was just as happy not to undertake that challenge. Yeah. Francis is coming in now for his safety figure. All of these aircraft so far, with the exception of the Sukhoi, are running a 6-cylinder Lycoming engine. Most of them, I'm going to say there probably isn't one with less than 300 horsepower. Most of them are either 330 or pumped up even higher.
Yeah, 360.
As you indicated earlier, it does cost you some in terms of engine longevity. But horsepower solves a lot of problems when you're flying aerobatics. If you get a little behind on energy, something like that.
It sure does. But the more finesseful you can fly your airplane, the more precise you can fly it. You can rely upon that your skill will get you there as well. I mean, I'm always, I always try to be as finesseful as possible to maximize the energy and the efficiency of the aircraft.
And by flying it with finesse, if you do end up maybe in a low energy state, then you have all that engine power in reserve, as opposed to counting on it from the get-go.
Absolutely.
Well, Francis is already back at altitude, and these are aircraft that can climb in excess of 3,000 feet per minute. So we really don't have long to wait between stops.
No, we don't.
I'm based in Colorado, and we often fly density altitude 7,000, 8,000 feet, something like that. And we need a little patience at our contest for the lower powered aircraft to get to altitude, and we'll run multiple holds and that kind of thing so that we can have multiple aircraft climbing at the same time.
But talk about needing finesse. I mean, you guys who fly high altitude, high DA shows, when you get down to sea level, you're gods, because you got your fingers, wings are talking to you, and you can get it through your fingers.
Yeah, it's a treat to get full horsepower and all those good air molecules, but we have to recalibrate then all of our uplines and such.
Sure.
I was coming off heading in loops, and I just realized there's so much engine torque, I wasn't putting in enough rudder over the top of the loop. And I mean, it's a great problem to have, but...
okay, we got a wing wag.
Okay, here comes Francis now. Sequence golf. Again, this is the downwind sequence, port to the vertical, 3/4 roll on the upline, 2 of 8 opposite, 3/4 radius, 4-point roll on the top. Okay, now coming around the backside of the loop, back to horizontal. 3 of 4, one direction, 3/4 roll opposite, end of figure, number 2, pull vertical for the tail slide. 1 1/4 rolls on the upline. Wheels up, slide. Three-quarter inside snap on the down line. End of figure. Number 3, double Humpty bump, pull vertical. 3 of 4 on the up. Half radius to the down line. Two of 2. Pull to an upline. Quarter roll. Lay out. End of figure. 1 1/4 upright, inverted spin. There's the stall, there's the spin. It's 1 1/4 rotations. Half roll, same direction. Pull to an upline, 4-point roll. Layout inverted, end of figure. Number 5, pull down. Quarter roll. Pull to an upline. No rolls on the up. Push over to a down line. Half roll. Pull horizontal, end of figure. Number 6, full roll. Half loop up. 3 of 2. Inside, snap and a half, same direction. End of figure, horizontal 8, pull around to a 45 upline. Four-point roll. 3/4 outside radius. It's a long, hard push. Now on the 45 upline, 3/4 roll, 3 of 4 opposite, layout, end of figure. Number 8, half loop down. Number 9, double roll. Half loop up. 2-point roll. Outside snap and a half, opposite direction. End of figure, number 10. Pull, push, pull, Humpty. Pull to an upline. Push over to a down line. Half roll on the down, reverses the aircraft's heading. Pull the horizontal, finish upright and downwind. Number 11, lay down Humpty, 45 line, pull inside snap. Half loop to a 45 down line. Roll and a half to upright. Pull out, end of figure. Number 12, sharp tooth, vertical upline, full outside snap. Pull to a 45 down line. Two of 2. Push out. Push into a Humpty bump, no rolls on the up. Push to a down line. Floating the aircraft over the top of that radius and bringing the push in the second half. Now on the down line, quarter roll. Pull to an up line. Another quarter roll. Cap off. End of figure. Number 14, push to 45 down, inside, snap and a half. From there, push to an upline. Four of 8. Cap off. End of figure, end of sequence. Francis Barros.
Great job, Francis. Great job. Now we got Jesse Mack, extra 330 from Canada. His goal is to score in the mid 60 percentiles. So he can have an opportunity to go for the Canadian national team. He's working hard. He's got an agenda. And interesting enough is he's doing the I, just like Luke, his mentor, did the I.
Okay.
Just like his coach, Aaron McCarten, did the I.
Yeah, Aaron coaches the Canadian team.
Yes, he does. He works really hard. I was at the Nationals with Aaron, and they just love him up there. He's really given a lot. It's just so much fun to see that.
Yeah, we call ourselves the International Aerobatic Club, but it's principally U.S. pilots, U.S. contests. However, the Canadians use IAC rules.
Right.
They're IAC members. So if you go to a contest in Canada, it's pretty much the same deal as here in the U.S. By contrast, CIVA, the what is that? Commission Internationale de Voltige Aérienne, which is a fancy French way of saying the International Aerobatics Commission, governs the world events, and their rule book's a little different. Their procedures are a little different, and anyone from the U.S. or Canada working to compete at an international event has to get coached up and familiar with all those differences. All right, Jesse is heading towards the upwind end of the box. And from there, he will do his safety figures. We got a few moments yet. As I said, the World Aerobatic Championships in 2026 will be in the United States. CIVA rules say that once a decade, the event must be held outside of Europe. If you think about where aerobatics occurs, by far the most pilots are in North America, but the most countries are in Europe.
That's exactly right.
So often these contests, will be in Hungary, Slovakia, Poland as the U.S. advanced team.
And some of the European teams are sponsored by the government too.
They are.
Yeah, and that's their job, is to fly aerobatics.
The French team, I believe, is composed of French Air Force pilots.
Right. What a job. Every day go to work, try to get better. Coaching every day.
And that used to be how it was done in Russia back in days of the Soviet Union.
Right.
But now I believe the Russian pilots are privately funded, if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that. From the judging perspective, one has to get certified as a judge, I believe, by CIVA if you want to judge in an international event. There are some of our judges here on the Unlimited line that would like to do that. All of their scoring that they do here goes into our scoring program called Jasper, and that's how we determine the results for U.S. nationals. But then one of our volunteers, Tom Myers, will input all the scores from Unlimited into the CIVA scoring program so that it can spit out the statistics that say this judge is or is not in line with the other judges. They called zeros when they should have. They didn't call them when they shouldn't have. And then you can present those numbers to SIVA
Oh, interesting.
as part of your bid for certification, and then they will invite you to come and judge at that
Interesting.
event. I had the privilege and a lot of fun just as an assistant judge at the European Championships in Slovakia in 2013, I want to say, and it was cool being in a different country and seeing how things are done from the SIVA perspective and interacting with pilots from so many different places.
Yeah. Is there more spectators in Europe who come to the
This
event?
we had relatively few at that one, but this was a lower level event, just the championships for Europe as opposed to the world. When we do the Worlds in Batavia, New York, we are making provisions for
Wing wags.
spectators. So follow us on that, and if you're interested in coming out, you can do that. Okay, Jesse Mack, beginning of sequence, pull to the vertical, 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite, 3/4 radius, 4 of 4 on top. Bringing it back around now to the horizontal, 3/4 roll, 3 of 4, followed by a 3/4 roll opposite. Tail slide is next, pull vertical, roll in a quarter, cut the power, tail slide. Interesting fact about tail slides, as you're sliding backwards, if you want the aircraft to pitch one way, you put the stick opposite the direction you would think because the air's flowing backwards over the elevator. Jesse does the 3/4 inside snap on the down line, now into figure 3 double umpty bump from the vertical, 3 of 4. Half radius. On the vertical down line, a 2-point roll. Pull back to an upline. Quarter roll. Layout. End of figure. Number 4 is the 1 1/4 turn spin from inverted. The crowd is hushed as Jesse pulls the power back. The Lycoming slows to idle. Watching for that stall break. Nose drops, rudders kicked. 1 1/4 rotations. Half roll down. Same direction. Pull to an upline. 4-point roll. Layout inverted. End of figure. Number 5, another double Humpty bump. Pull to a vertical down line. Quarter roll. Pull to an upline. No rolls on the up. Push over to a down line. Half roll. Pull to the horizontal end of figure number 6. Full roll. Half loop up. Three of 2. Inside snap and a half, same direction, end of figure. Number 7 is the horizontal 8. Pull around for 5/8 radius. Now on the 45 upline, 4-point roll, also known as the 4 of 4. 3/4 push radius. This is where you learn whether you tighten the belts all the way or if there's a little slack left in them. Not that that's a terrible thing, but 3/4 roll one way, 3 of 4 opposite. Layout, end of figure. Often after an advanced flight, when I really ratcheted the seat belt down. When I release it, I swear I can feel my pelvis returning to its original shape and direction.
It's brutal.
I've seen people with bruises where the seat belts cross their hips. Yeah. Double roll, half loop up, 2 of 2, outside snap and half opposite, and a figure. Next, full vertical for a Humpty Bump. I keep using that term Humpty Bump. Your generic Humpty Bump consists of a vertical upline, a half radius, a vertical downline, and then return to horizontal. Just to give you an overall sense of the figure. Pushes over the top of this Humpty, half roll on the downline, pull out, and to figure. Now it's a lay down Humpty where instead of going to the vertical, the aircraft goes on a 45-degree angle, full inside snap in this particular maneuver. Now comes the half radius that characterizes the Humpty to a 45 downline. 1.5 rolls back to upright. End of figure. Number 12, sharp tooth. Pull to an upline. Full outside snap. Pull to a 45 downline. Two-point roll. Push to horizontal, end of figure. Number 13, push to an upline. Cap off, end of figure. Number 14, push to 45 down, inside snap and a half. Vertical upline, 4 of 8. Cap off. All right, I'm ahead of the competitor, sorry. 1.5 inside snap. Now push to the vertical upline. 4 of 8. Cap off, end of figure. Jesse Mack.
Good job, Jesse.
Our contest director, Shad Colson, just cruised by to check how far along we are in the flight sequence and to pick up the radio he lent me earlier. Everywhere you look on the field, no matter where you go, there's Shad.
That's unbelievable. And he's full-time at the Air Force Academy, too.
Yeah, he's an instructor at the Academy.
Which is just great.
Works with their coach, Mark Matacola. Shad is himself an Academy grad.
I didn't know that. Isn't that great?
Yep. That's a very cool program they have there. They fly glider aerobatics there from primary through the advanced category.
Now that they have an advanced glider, that they have a Fox now, so they've really upgraded.
Very much so. They had been flying DG-1000, which is a soaring glider that can do aerobatics. Okay, but now they have the Fox, which was built for aerobatics. And that's kind of an incentive, I think, for the cadets.
And you got to
get good enough to move into that Fox.
I've been to the Academy 19 years in a row now. I've given a scholarship out, and these kids, it's not a normal college experience. These kids are best of breed, and they work really hard to get into the Academy, to stay in the Academy, and to take the extra time to do the glider evolution or the skydiving or the aero competition. It's something else. It's makes you proud. Every single one of them.
They're inspiring.
Yeah, they march to lunch.
Yep, these kids are all go-getters. They're all bright. They're all very positive attitudes. My home chapter, IC, most IC contests are put on by local chapters. Mine is IC Chapter 12 in Colorado. And about every other year, we coordinate with the Academy and hold a regional contest there with a mix of power and glider.
How fun is that?
And man, we're in the shadow of Pikes Peak. right? So just gorgeous scenery, this beautiful facility, 3 runways, huge hangars, cadets, you know, everywhere you look, doing stuff and making the contest happen. And it's the highest contest, I think, probably flown anywhere with a 600 to 700 foot airport elevation. But the experience is just unmatched. We have people come from all around the country just to fly at that venue.
That's and for the Air Force to open their arms to the public to come in there.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and we can't discount the amount of work that it takes to hold an event like this at a military facility. There's landing permission forms. There's coordination with the tower. There's insurance requirements. They have to suspend everything else that normally goes on at that airport. So that we get it to ourselves for the whole weekend. It's a real heavy lift on the part of the coaches and staff there, and cannot overstate how appreciative we are that they go to that much trouble.
I hear an airplane in the sky. Who is it?
I do. You're holding
I'm
the
going to
shoot,
tell you. One and only.
Brittanee Lincoln, Miss Lincoln, is flying sequence.
Ooh, she's on a G.
Back on golf. All right, Britt is in now for her safety maneuver. Britt is also flying the 330 SC. I believe this is Britt's first year in Unlimited. Is that right?
And she just came back from the Advanced World. She's she's serious.
Yep. Britt is, as we said a couple days ago, Britt is one of those who kind of showed up on the scene and rocketed up the ranks. And she puts in the time and effort needed to do that, clearly.
And she always had a smile on her face. She was raring to go.
Yep, a lot of energy. All right, safety maneuver is complete. She's climbing back to altitude. Once more, if you're just joining us, this is DJ Molney and Sean D. Tucker at the 2025 U.S. National Aerobatic Championships in Salina, Kansas. Speaking of places that go to a lot of trouble to host us, Salina Airport Authority, Chamber of Commerce, many others really have bent over backwards to make this available to us. Huge hangars in which we can put our airplanes, all the coordination you
It's
could possibly
awesome.
hope for.
They're so nice.
Extremely.
I mean, there's plenty of room. I mean, you don't feel crowded at all.
They've mowed down some soybeans so we can sit out here and watch the airplanes from the required distance and judge them. And this is, we've been in Salina for several years now after decades of holding the competition in Sherman-Denison, Texas. And that airport just basically got too busy. And so we were looking for a new home. And Salina, Kansas, just about dead center in the country.
Yep.
Works well for, as well as it possibly can for a nationwide crop of pilots. And now Britt Lincoln is on a 45 downline, wagging her wings, indicating she's about to start. And we are on sequence golf. Begins with pull to the vertical, 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite. 3/4 radius, 4-point roll on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, pulling around. Three of 4, 3/4 roll opposite. Bada boom. End of figure, pull vertical, 1 1/4 rolls. Wheels up, slide. Another thing about tail slides in general, the pilots must, quote unquote, cheat the aircraft a little bit. So if you want a wheels up slide, you're going to go up with the aircraft slightly on its back, not perfectly vertical. Because if it was perfectly vertical, it may or may not flop the way you want. There is a deduction if the judges perceive the aircraft not vertical. We'll talk about that in a moment. Just now into figure 3. Pulling vertical, 3 of 4-point roll. And pull to a vertical down line. So if the judges see the aircraft going up on less than a perfect vertical angle, they deduct 1 point for 5 degrees or a half a point for 2.5 degrees. 2-point roll on the down line, pulling to the vertical now. 1/4 roll on the up. layout inverted, end of figure. Now, 1 1/4 spin to begin figure 4. Little snap, crackle, pop out of the Lycoming as the propeller drives the engine rather than vice versa with the power all the way out. 1 1/4 rotations, half roll opposite. Excuse me, half roll same direction, my bad. Pull to an upline, 4-point roll. Layout. End of figure, number 5. Pull to a downline. Quarter roll. Pull to an upline. No rolls on the up. Push over to a downline. Half roll down. Pull out end of figure. Number 6 begins with a full roll, half loop up. 3 of 2. Inside, snap and a half, same direction. End of figure, number 7. Is that horizontal 8. 5/8 radius. 4-point roll on the 45 up. 3/4 push radius. To another 45 upline, 3/4 roll, 3 of 4 opposite, layout, end of figure. Number 8 is that simple half loop down. Number 9 begins with a double roll. Half loop up. 2 of 2. Outside, snap and a half opposite. Finish inverted, end of figure. Finish upright, end of figure. Pull vertical. Push over to a downline. And I'll say as a pilot, once you get used to going straight down and staring at the ground, rolls on a vertical downline are just a ton of fun.
I love it.
Half roll there. Good is now headed downwind for the lay down Humpty, full inside snap. Half loop radius to a 45 downline. Roll and a half to upright. And a figure. Number 12 is the sharp tooth. Vertical upline. Full outside snap. .45 down. 2-point roll from inverted to inverted. Push out end of figure. 13 double Humpty. Push vertical. Push to a down line. Quarter roll. Pull to an upline. Quarter roll again. Cap off. End of figure. Now push to a 45 down. Inside, snap and a half. Push to an upline. 4 of 8. cap off. End of figure, end of sequence.
Great
Good
job.
Lincoln.
Great job, Vicky.
I think she has a pretty good future.
I would say if it
Yes.
passes any indication,
Well,
Absolutely
yeah, well, I think she's going to be great just to inspire young women to give it a try.
yep. As with most things in aviation, women are really underrepresented in the ranks of
Really?
competitors. But I will say that overall, they tend to overachieve. You have your Patty Wagstaff, your Debbie
Absolutely.
Wren Harveys.
Yep.
You know, these are a minority amongst the competitors, and yet they are at the top of the ranks oftentimes.
Well, the gal who's running the Bob Academy flight operations, 24 years old, she's got the bug now, and I can't wait to introduce her to Brittany, just because Brittany's opening the door like Patty opened the door. Debbie Gary opened the door, and and they belong here.
Yep.
And I think it's just great.
Yep. Well,
One more.
I was going to say, sadly, we seem to be coming to the end of
I've
the
learned
group.
so much from you.
Oh, thank you.
I don't even have to pay you as a coaching fee. Thank you very much. This is really fun. I mean, it really is fun.
Yep. This is just great to. I could sit here and watch this all day, and I have. Yep.
And you are.
I don't want to leave the airport. We got an
our last?
extra 300L, Robert Bond.
Okay,
He's going to
Rob
put that in,
Bond.
and we're on the C form.
Okay, this is the first time I think we're seeing
Sequence C.
Sequence Charlie.
Let's see why he chose that.
You say it's sequence letter Charlie? Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay. Because it's also the C form.
Yeah.
When you're drawing out the diagram, the
Right.
judges put the scores on what's called a Form A. Okay, Rob is wing wagon. I think he has eschewed the optional safety figure, and he's just getting right after it. Okay, Rob. We're going to start with that same first figure with a full vertical 3/4 roll, 2 of 8 opposite. 3/4 radius, 4 of 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Coming through vertical around to the horizontal now, 3 of 4. 3/4 opposite, end of figure. Now a double Humpty. To the vertical, 3 of 4 on the upline. Half radius to a downline. 2 of 2. Pull to an upline. 1/4 roll, layout inverted, and a figure. Figure 3 begins with about 1 1/4 inverted spin. Rob is driving the aircraft upwind to give it optimal positioning. Waiting for him to drop that 1 1/4 spin. As we talked about a couple days ago, the extra 300L, really the most capable airplane, I would say, of its day, has since been supplanted by the 330 series of aircraft, and it is a little more energy challenged and requires a little more airmanship out of Rob to get through these very difficult and intense sequences. All right, he's done a 4-point roll on the upline now, laid out inverted, end of figure 3. Figure 4 is a double Humpty. It starts with a downline 1/4 roll. It's going to pull back to an upline. Half roll. Pull around to a downline. No rolls on the down. Return to horizontal, end of figure. Number 5 begins with a full roll, half loop up. 3 of 2. Full inside snap and a half, same direction. End of figure. Number 7, half loop down. I used to be in a partnership in a 300L. I put about 700 hours on the airplane. Absolutely loved it. Most honest airplane you'll ever fly. Does exactly what you tell it to, for better or worse.
Super reliable.
Yep. Okay. Okay, Robbie's in the horizontal 8 now. Pushing through that second radius. 3/4 one way, 3 or 4 opposite. The other thing I like about the 300L is the sweetest landing tail dragger you'll find. They really shouldn't let you log it as tail wheel time.
Be nice. I have 2 of them.
Just saying.
Yeah, I have 2 of them. They both have 4,000 hours, and without it, they're still great.
Okay. Now, figure number 8, double roll to half loop up. 2 of 2. Outside snap and a half. End of figure. Number 9 is a horizontal S. Begins with a half roll from upright to inverted. 5/8 radius. Once it hits the 45 hook line, 1 half roll. Another 5/8 radius. End of figure. Number 10 is the tail slide. It's going to pull it up line. 1 1/4 roll. Wheels up slide. Three-quarter inside snap on the down. Finish upright and downwind end of figure. Number 11, lay down Humpty. Number 45, full inside snap. Half loop around. On the 45 down, roll and a half. Okay. Number 12, pull vertical, full outside snap, pull the 45 down. Two of 2. Okay, looks like that figure stopped early. Rob is wagging his wings, indicating an explicit interruption. That means that he is going to stop the sequence, reorganize, reset, recombobulate, and then we'll come back in and presumably finish the sequence from there. So he took a break during number 12. Under IAC rules, he can refly 12 from the start. The judges have already given him a score for 12, but he can do that if he wants to set up, or he can just resume on the next figure, which is number 13.
He's just regrouping right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's climbing back to altitude. Okay, he's coming right back in.
He's going
There's
for it.
wing wags. Let's see which figure he starts on. I'm going to guess it's probably 13. Oh, he's upright. 13 starts inverted. So let's see what's cooking here. Okay, he just drove through the box. He did signal a start with a wing wag, but a competitor is not obligated to commit aerobatics after that. If you don't like your position, your energy state, you can come back around and do it again, and apparently that's what Rob's doing at this point.
You can't ask for advice, you got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, and that's harder than you think.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if you get a little confused as to where things are at, honestly, it can be hard to remember which end is the upwind end of the box. All right, now he's inverted and he's wing wagon inverted. I think that's set him up now for the
Yep.
start to number 13. Number 13 begins an inverted half roll to upright, half loop up, half roll, end of figure. And now number 14, push 45 down inside snap and a half, pull vertical. Excuse me, push vertical, my bad. 4 of 8, cap off. End of figure, end of sequence, Rob Bond. And that's it for the Free Unknown 1 sequence here at the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships in Salina, Kansas.
And that's how you fight back. You
Yes.
didn't give up.
Good
that's
for
how,
him.
That's how you fight back.
Yep, shake it
Good.
off, get
Yep.
back on the horse.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I just got to tell you, thanks again for the education and putting up with me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. DJ Molney here with Sean B. Tucker. We'll talk to you again in a couple of days for the Free Unknown 2. So long, everybody.
Mission log 2050-01. The entire population is under sleep. Oxygen levels are normal. We are arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
can see through the smoke, but the pain is still fresh. And I still think about the life that I lived. And you and me were at our best. But our love ran cold with the words we said. I lost you, yeah, I know too well. Thought it through, but it hurt like hell. If I see you again, I'll be someone else. I lost you, but I found myself. I'm talking to